everyone knows what a DAO is, a decentralized autonomous organization, in case you didn't know. And everyone's heard of DAOs, mostly taking place on shitcoin layer ones or layer twos. And the DAOs have their own shitcoins and they do all this complex governance and all that. But what we're talking about is really more to use that technology, to use these ideas of creating a decentralized organization, but have it ingrained into the world, doing real life stuff, having real life profit generation, solving problems, offering services, whatever that is, and then having a structure where the people involved are all incentivized to make it better.
It's a new way of creating a corporation in a sense. It's an organized system. And one of the things that I think we could do to really like just kind of break down what this is evolving to, because Jordan and I, we had this idea from the beginning, and we were trying to structure what we were building here at Sovereignty Studios in a way that was decentralized and in a way where there was some sort of revenue profit sharing scheme, and in a way where it created the incentives to cooperate and collaborate. So we both have some backgrounds with an interest in DAOs, and so it's always been on our radar. And now, as we build out Sovereignty Studios, um, it's starting a lot of those concepts from you know that DAOs are starting to come into place, and as to how we structure things here, and that's what's interesting. And I think like if we break down Balaji's book, right? The Network State. I think that that would provide a lot of fuel for conversation to explain more about the elements of what we're doing.
Sure. I think a little more backstory though. We're building a company here. We're a startup. You definitely say we're a startup, but we're in this new environment of El Salvador with different conditions. For example, there's a legal framework here to tokenize your stocks, your securities. So all that technology that shitcoins have used for scams can actually be used here to just make a more efficient format of, what do we call it? The value that is distributed to participants, to provers of work within an organization. Where they're incentivized to contribute, they're rewarded with something, and then they can cash that out or they keep it or whatever it is. There is a legal framework here to do that in the same way where, like, if you have a stock in the United States and you're going to sell a big amount, you have to file it with the SEC. Like that's legal. That's how it works. That's how you avoid all this scam. So what we're talking about here is creating a company in this new paradigm, in this bottom up Renaissance fashion, where it keeps all of these elements of prove your work, be part of it, get incentivized for it. Like, sure, everyone has to prove their work in the beginning. You're not going to get paid much, but start really doing the work, and you're going to gain a name for yourself. You're going to gain reputation, and you're going to get rewarded for that.
So, the definition of a network state is a highly aligned online community with a capacity for collective action that eventually organizes to achieve its goals offline.
Boom.
So, right off the bat, what I think of is all of us here in this room, right? How did we meet? How did we get to know each other? Right? It all started from X. And then Jordan, we, communicated through Zoom calls, and eventually we decided to meet in person, IRL, over here in El Salvador. And, with online technologies, with communication technologies, we are able to now find people who resonate with us on a very deep level, right? By sharing what's important to us through social media or through whatever media platforms there are. And, in this world where I think it's becoming so distinct between the different worldviews, right? It's almost like, either you're an NPC or you're awake. It doesn't feel like there's much in between anymore.
Mhm.
Um, you know, Finding people who resonate with you in order to build a better life, even if it's just being around neighbors, right? Who don't believe that people should be able to force their will on you, right? Even that, enough people creates a stronghold, right? Virs and numerous. This is the Bitcoin saying. Like there's power in numbers. And so just being around people, this is why tribes formed, right? Because it was around shared customs, shared values, and it just makes life easier. There's a lot less friction. You know, Imagine going through COVID and you know, what I realized was living around communists sucks, or living around, uh, I don't want to say libtards, but just people who were bought into the narrative sucked, because they would tell you at the grocery store, "Hey, put on a mask," or they'd ask you if you're vaccinated in order to get into a party or something like that. And it's like, dude, so you want to live around people that are like-minded. You want to build around people that are like-minded, and we can find each other through these digital online communication channels.
Yeah, so it starts online, gather the tribe through the values. You broadcast those values out through media. You start connecting, you start building it, and then you start organizing. And that's thanks to these technologies that allow us to organize, which, sorry, is tokens, tokenizing things on the blockchain with smart contracts that helps you organize. And now anyone can do it because it's so easy to deploy these things.
Hmm.
So the key here is, how do we start building these things on Bitcoin? On like
Hmm.
Bitcoin's social layer. We're not quite there yet, but maybe we are. I mean, there are DAOs that have been built on Bitcoin. I don't know
Yeah.
how successful they've been, but these experiments continue on. So, but the point is this technology can help us organize online, and then eventually that grounds into something real. And here we are. So, thanks to our community calls, Matthias is here, Paul is here. We got other people coming. Like, this is
We've
awesome.
connected with other
We
people. We're
There was a meetup.
Yeah, we have a retreat. And so now all of a sudden, people who are like-minded, who are driven, who are hungry, who want to make an impact in the world, right? Because I realized, just putting this retreat together, how important it is to have people with a similar vision, all aligned with some goals, because there's no way I could pull this off on my own, or you, Jordan, or Paul. Like, it takes a team to really have an impact. And when that team is all aligned in their worldview, in their values, in their principles, in their work ethic, you know, there's so much potential there to be unleashed.
And when you get more and more people working towards the same goals with a shared mission, there's no fucking stopping us.
Yeah.
It's like the more fires you throw, the more sticks you throw into a fire, the brighter that shit burns, and soon you can't stop it.